Hello, everyone. I am Sage Stevens, the host of Shout Out with Sage. And today I'm joined by a filmmaker, storyteller, and a photographer. From his early start with a Kodak 16 millimeter camera to contributing to projects like the TV series The Help, Michael has built a career spanning commercials, music videos, and feature films. Most recently, he co directed a music video with Dania Ramirez, also seen in Netflix's hit series Sweet Tooth, collaborating with the post production team behind Beyonce's Formation. Now, Michael is preparing for his narrative debut, an apocalyptic love story set here in Los Angeles, starring Emmy nominated producer Adhrucia Apana. Whether directing, shooting, or composing, Michael approaches every project with a story first vision driven more by meaning than spotlight. And welcome to the show, Michael Pizzoli. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm well, Sage. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Thanks for joining us today. What brought you into filmmaking?
I think I've had a love for filmmaking since I was a kid. It's definitely my favorite art form. And I think looking back, the movies I loved literally changed my trajectory,
I'm
really made an impact.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there. So,
Yes.
why did they change your trajectory?
Just in the way of life. I think like I have a degree in history. I think I'm making films and have a degree in history because of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That had such an effect on me at 9 years old that interest in both those fields. And then cameras were always around the house. My dad had a 16 millimeter camera. My grandfather, I'm not sure if it was inherited or not, but he had an old camera back. He's got footage of Yosemite back in the 30s.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Kodak 16 millimeter camera. That was the first thing that you picked up to shoot with. How did that shape like the rest of your love for film?
Um, Interesting. Yeah, like I said, it was always around the house, so we had access to it. A friend and I it's funny, tried to do a sequel to Raiders when we were 9, which I think M. Night Shyamalan, I think that's his story too. Um, but a couple things happened. There was no production availability for that. We had no idea how to do sound. So it was basically like a silent film. Back then, I think my dad got sick of paying for film at that time for his kids. But it was pretty fun. Like we spent a lot of time building sets, and we didn't really even know what a screenplay was, but we spent a lot of a lot of time trying, I say.
How has that shaped? So you know what it takes then, like you have all the different departments, like you have set design, you have sound, you have the actors, you have all the, the producers. How has that helped, now from your childhood?
Well, I think it just put me on a course of creativity, of wanting to make this stuff. We didn't know how to do any sort of effects, so we kind of made stuff up. At 9 years old. So I think that sort of lit a fire, I guess.
Hmm.
That would continue, and then I stayed in some version of audio or video production for till now, for years.
I was reading your bio and it said that you started more in music than film. How how did you where did you go in music? Like you were directing videos?
No, I was actually play guitar most of my life. I was like playing nightclubs in high school, so I had a band, and we were okay. It's a lot easier when you're a teenager to buy musical equipment than it is film equipment. And back then there wasn't, again, we didn't have the facilities to do like you do now, where you can shoot something yourself and edit and do sound. So it, as much as I had a passion for it back then, it was, financially just impossible, production wise impossible.
Mm,
So I mean, music took me. I got a do like a minor degree in sound engineering and played. So that really facilitated sort of the production end of my learning.
okay. Was there a moment when you knew that film would be your lifelong path? Like it was that it was more than just a hobby? Or, well, I
I
guess,
mean, I think that I always had the idea of, hopefully parlaying success in music uh into something in film later, like even though, many singers did that, even though I wasn't like in that, I was playing guitar, but that was always in the background. But about 20, 25 years ago, I started to, even though I love music and I still play every day, um, my passion was for images. I
mm,
lived and breathed movies. I couldn't wait to see the next film, or I had a thirst to watch all the best. And music, I though I love music, I didn't have the same tenacity
mm.
to educate myself in the field, I guess.
Do you think tenacity is a big indicator of someone's success? Do you think that you need to have that whether you're in film or music or any type of creative career?
I mean, of course, you people obviously hear stories that people getting lucky, but you you absolutely have to work at it like it's a job. I mean, no one starts a company of any kind and is successful if they're doing it in an hour a day or something on weekends. It doesn't work. If you have a startup business and you're 16 hours a day, you still might not be successful. But some people ask me, or I get asked a lot, like, "Oh, do you think I've got what it takes, or could I do this?" And I remind them that, I mean, do you love to do it? Do you like the work?
Mm,
Is if you're just trying to be rich or famous, then your chances are you won't be successful, because it comes with a lot of heartache. But if you actually wake up and love what you do, then you
yeah.
have a lot better shot.
There was was there a time where you weren't necessarily sure about your path in film? Like, were you going to maybe go somewhere else? I know you're a still photographer as well, correct? Was there ever
I
a time
am.
was there ever a time where you were just going to go somewhere else? Like, get a 9 to 5 job?
Um, I mean, 20 years ago, I was a VP of a software company and was doing this kind of film and photography on the side. And I was just absolutely miserable doing that. I mean, and I was making decent money, and like, I mean, I had a good position, but completely miserable.
Mm,
So, and I remember the feeling, years ago of changing all my information from from VP to cinematographer, and being nervous, and it was the best decision I ever made.
yeah, when you have to change that label about yourself, it
Yeah.
was so it was a big transition for you. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it was, and thank God I did it. I really don't recognize that person anymore.
I understand what you're saying. It's like, where did I start and where am I now, right?
Yeah.
You were part of the production crew for or the production team of The Help, which I believe and everyone, a lot of other people know as a cult favorite. What was it about that project that drew you to it?
Um, I was just hired has so many jobs in LA just through a friend of a friend, and they needed
Mhm.
someone reliable. So I think it's been a long time since that show. It's even funny that you guys bring that up. Um,
Well,
because I mean, it was great. It was, yeah,
it has a lot
no,
of great
no.
people in it. It has like
It had an amazing cast. So I
yeah,
think I'm credited as associate producer,
yes.
but really just flip those letters around. Like I was a glorified PA on that show, but I was a PA for the producer.
Mm.
So that was a pretty cool job at time. Again, I'm pretty new to LA at that time, and it really gave you the behind the scenes of how a network comedy was made. So
And
just the hours and the work and everything, it was pretty cool.
what are some of those? Like, how does a show get made?
I mean, lots and lots of long, frustrating hours. You see, you don't realize when you watch it how much, not only just the work, I mean, it was a great cast and crew. Not only this the production side, but what the what the writers did and their hours in between every night. Part of my job, and I was reflecting on this, and I'm not sure why, whether it was safety or security, but part of my job was dropping off the scripts to all the actors when the writers were done doing revisions.
Mm.
And, there'd be a room full of cigarettes and, very frustrated people screaming at each other until 3 or 4 in the morning.
Mm.
And then the scripts would come out and they'd photocopy them, and I would have to drive all the way across LA
Mm.
dropping off scripts to all those people now. And like you said, it was a pretty good cast.
Yeah, you had like Tori Spelling, Antonio Sabato Jr., David
Yep.
Faustino, and Megan Fox, and
Yeah.
Mandy, and I mean,
Yeah.
Kaylee Bo. I mean, there's like, 6, 7, 8 people that are, definitely, recognizable names people know, and they still have careers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would see them during the show, every night at 3 or 4 in the morning,
Mm.
handing them a script. Yeah, no, that was a fun time. And
Mm.
I was fun. I was trying to remember I don't even remember the lady that hired me, but she was also great, like
Mm.
great to work with. So, I've had good and bad experiences over the years in this business, and that was a positive one to start with.
So how exactly did you get that job? Because part of the show is about networking and how do people end up where they end up?
Through a friend. Another job, I worked for a talent agency in back at my very first like Hollywood job, and I was friends with the agents there, and then one of the agents left and got me the job on the show. He
Mm.
might have represented one of the writers or something, I forget. But
Okay.
again, so I mean, kind of networking, but I actually worked with him at an agency so he could vouch for my
Right.
reliability at the time.
But that's sort of, yeah, like someone vouch for you that this person's a good, they'll show up on
Absolutely.
the work and
Absolutely. Yeah.
they're not going to flake on you or cause problems. So,
Which is everything in this business. People hire their friends, right?
right. Yes. Yes. Or their family, but mostly, yeah, one or the other. Did working on that type of show teach you something, about collaboration and about storytelling?
Um, because I had really more of a tangential sort of relationship with it. I was kind of like not in the creative I mean, yes and no. I mean, yes, in the fact that you just saw how hard it was to get this work done,
Mm.
you know? Um, and how many people were involved and the effort that went into it. But so much of what I was doing was sort of administrative,
Okay.
um, that I had less a creative sort of
Right. And
insight on it and more of just understanding. It was a good look into the process more than anything.
Okay. What draws you to your projects? How do you decide what to say yes to?
Well, that's interesting. And I kind of joke about this a lot these days. People have FOMO from going out to parties or like fun events. I find that I have like project FOMO, where I have a tough time saying no because I
Mhm.
don't know. I can't tell right off the bat if it's going to be a good project or not, or who I'm going to meet, or what connections, or I find that even on the simplest, smallest project, you meet a couple gems, that people that you want to work with, or a couple talented people that inspire you. So I mean, I I say, at least try and say yes to most, or work it out, work within the budget or my
Mm,
schedule. Um, but ultimately I want to work with, people that care about
mm,
the project, people that are passionate behind the work, and hopefully have something to say. I'm definitely, I mean, I think we touched on this, when we were talking about this before, but I'm in this to tell stories. Not, I don't look at this as commerce.
And what type of stories do you want to express?
Um, human stories, I think. I look at some of my favorite filmmakers, and they have a pretty broad storytelling. You know, it's. I mean, I think ultimately one mistake that writers get wrong is that they're always looking for the twist, and they're always looking for these deep plots. But if you don't care about the protagonist, no one really cares what the
Mm,
plot is. And if you have an interesting character, they can do anything and people will gravitate towards it.
mm,
So I definitely lean towards, character driven, interesting, and antagonists. And I like gray characters too. I don't think the world is quite so, black and white and good and evil. I
right.
find characters that are flawed to be very interesting, and villains that you care about to be very interesting as well.
Well, this brings us to your narrative feature that you're working on, the
Yeah,
Mourning Sun, and you're working on that with Adhrucia Apana, correct?
I
She's a
am correct.
nominated producer. Yeah. Tell us more.
She is, and phenomenal actress. No, so I wrote this like 10 or 12 years ago. And I've written a bunch since, but this one always seemed to be the favorite among my friends that read it compared to some other stuff. Um, and it's like a cosmic sort of post or apocalyptic love story. Um, but a lot happens in 20 minutes, and I think I revised it so many times, and I know it so well. It's I definitely have like the way I feel about it, but people that read it for the first time, it seems to resonate with them. So I like that, and yeah, Adrucia's gonna play the lead, and we're uh casting for a couple more of the characters right now, so we're in pre-production.
Right. When do you think you're going to start shooting?
Hopefully in the next few weeks. I mean, cast isn't huge. We've got the mains down. We're picking up, a couple of the smaller roles, and finishing up some location scouting, and ideally, and we're have a few partners with some companies that are, sort of helping fund it and getting involved equipment rights, which is always necessary for these indies. So I mean, ideally in the next month or so.
What inspired you to write The Mourning Sun?
Oh, good question. Honestly, it's kind of inspired. Do you remember the movie Up,
Yeah.
the
Oh, I love
Pixar
that.
film?
Yeah, with
So
Ed.
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of a really dark homage to that. I I loved in that movie, and I'm not sure any other movie did it quite so well as you love those two characters in
Mm,
10 minutes. Like you
yeah,
believe they love each other. Like
definitely.
there's no doubt. It's such a wonderful, quick telling of like you're so invested in those characters so quick that I was always sort of inspired by this. So it's very much like a cosmic love story that just happens to take place at the end of the world.
Okay. Yeah, I loved. I actually interviewed Ed Asner on a red carpet a couple times. So
Oh,
yes,
no kidding.
yes,
That's great. No, he's great. That's you're lucky you got to do that before he passed. That's amazing.
yeah, exactly. What is the favorite part of creating something? What is your favorite part of that creative process?
I mean, there's something wonderful just about seeing an idea come alive, I
Mm,
think. Um, even in my still photography, I think I see the image before I take the picture. I
mm.
know like what I want to see. Um, I mean, and hopefully it's close, and more hopefully that it's better. But in video, it's the same thing. Before I go to a shoot,
You
I
story.
won't be able to sleep. I storyboard to a point.
Mm,
Um, and there are very uh different opinions on this between very great directors that I love. But I start with a very basic storyboard
okay.
and then go from there depending on what I see.
So, are you very intuitive then, more in the process, like when you're actually on set?
I mean, I'd like to think so, but
Mm,
sets are, as Guillermo del Toro says, it's just managing chaos. A lot of the times you're making changes based on problems that are happening versus necessarily these wonderful moments of insight. But I mean, sometimes you're lucky enough to see a beautiful light
mm,
or something happening, that is, at the moment. For when I shot with Dania, we shot it out in Joshua Tree, and we had a plan to do a sunset drone shoot on the top of this mountain, and we both, because of traffic, got there a little late, and she was wondering, she's like, oh, so what do we do? Like, I'm just going to set up a scene out back. And we just went out back at the Airbnb that we rented,
mm,
and I set up lights in 20 minutes and got a smoke machine out, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes in the video. Like, became sort of a central scene, and that
mm.
had zero planning. That
Right.
was, hey, give me 20 minutes. So again,
Just
it,
the
it
yeah,
it's turning a problem into something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you mentioned Danya. You co-directed her music video,
Hmm.
and she is known for being more of an actress. She's done a
Yeah.
lot of shows and movies. How did that relationship come about for you?
Um, so my one of my best friends is arguably the best short form editor in the world. Like he
Who
did
is this?
uh it's Jeff Sellis.
Okay.
So he did I mean his contacts on his phone, it's just terrifying. Like who like when you scroll through. But I mean he's done work for for Muse and Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Rob Zombie and Drake, and I mean
Oh,
it
wow.
just goes on. And he did Beyonce's Formation
Okay.
video. That's Rolling Stone's best music video of all time. So Danya was recommended by Jeff to work with me on this video, and it was kind of funny. I came to her with just like 5 or 6 just concepts
Mm.
that I concept art that I came up with, and had a meeting with her and her husband at her house, and just sort of, okay, here's a couple ideas, and I went through all 5, and I like, which of these ideas do you want to shoot? And they spoke for a second. She said, all of them. Let's let's do
Let's
all of them. I'm like, oh, oh,
right,
okay. And I mean, they were pretty mixed, there's an underwater shot. We shot in the desert. We shot in the mountains. We shot
right,
downtown LA. Like it's pretty varied shoot for, and like you said, it's her first music video. She's kind of jumping
right.
into music later, and she killed it. It's great.
Yes. I mean, I know that she's an actress and she's done, she's been in X-Men and Sweet Tooth she's on right now. I know she's done a lot of other things, but how was it working with someone who's like just sort of entering music and doing a music video? How was that collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably the best collaboration that I've had doing anything. It was so smooth, and she doesn't say no to ideas,
Mm.
and we yeah, I told her this is going to be difficult. She's like, okay. We did a shoot underwater. Okay. Like, we went to a dry lake bed and shot in the middle of the night. I'm like, it's going to be cold. She said,
Yeah.
okay. Like, like, we're going downtown. Like, I actually brought an armed security guard for downtown, but I'm like, it could get crazy.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, okay. So no,
Is
Danya is a trooper. Like, I would work with her, and so good at what, I don't know if you've watched Sweet Tooth, but she's amazing on
yeah.
that show, and like, she's a phenomenal actress. So
I watched
I was
first.
lucky. Yeah.
I'll need to go back to it, but
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just blown away by the production, the director, the showrunner. It's such a beautifully shot show that I absolutely love it.
so you do music videos and film. Is there a difference in the process with that?
Um, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there are things that are overlays, of
Mm.
course, but music videos are a little more casual. You're not worried about sound. You're kind of getting out there, and you're shooting for hours, and you know that you're going to grab a second or two here and there. And
Okay.
it's, you have ideas, but it's definitely a little more fun. You can explore. Whereas if you shooting a feature, y- I'm not equating it to war, but it feels like you're about to go to boot camp, where you're just sort of dreading the few weeks that are about to happen, because it's 15, 16 hour days over and over that you have to get right. And it's just emotionally trying, and by the end you're excited, but you're tired. It's a lot of work.
Right. Well, it's like
It's
what you said. Yeah, it's like what you said earlier, where what did that you're just troubleshooting the whole time. It's just like you're just
absolutely.
problems. So
No, you're absolutely. And I joke about this a lot. When you're the DP, when everything's going well, everyone says, weird, isn't this great? And it's always we. It's we, until there's a problem on set. And then it's like, what do you do? What's wrong? What did you do? Then it's
do
like, hey, what happened to we? It's all like, okay.
we
And
we by
and that's nerve when it's good. In victory, there's a million heroes. In defeat, there's one general.
Yes, exactly. You mentioned in what I was reading about you that you were driven more by meaning in a project than in the spotlight. Do you want to elaborate that on that a bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been doing this, creating long enough of some kind to like I have zero parts of me want a spotlight of any kind.
Mm.
Which is ironic to be in doing an interview as I'm saying that, but I, I want to tell stories. Like I said, I want to make art that's interesting. I have no interest in mediocrity. Like I want to do, if in my photos, I want people to look at them and just wow. I want a wow factor, and I hopefully, I don't achieve that, but I want to tell stories that move people. I'm not. I Do I care if my action film grosses 100 million the first weekend? I suppose making money is nice, but it's definitely it's not my goal in this business. You know, Hopefully making memorable art is.
Was there someone that was really pivotal in your career so far that's really helped you, or that you would like to give a shout out to, that sort of helped you guide you where you are?
Um, Not, I mean, not particularly,
Mhm.
which, is sort of a shame. I guess it would be nice to if I had, I mean, there's been, um, and like a couple of photographers, whose work I saw and I sort of met, that inspired me. Um, I mean, I think that when you're an artist of any kind and sticking with it, there are so many people that don't necessarily believe in you. Don't think that
That's
you're
true.
going to be successful. That alone kind of is in like I'm just that
All
stubborn.
the people who didn't believe in me, here I
Yeah,
am.
yeah, yeah. No, and I mean, but I don't even mean to be that cynical because God bless them too. You know, like but it's tough. It's no one thinks that you can do stuff and then you do it and then try and chip away and then tell you it won't last, and all of a sudden you start getting like text and emails like, hey, it's been a long process that we've been through. Isn't this like, oh, you're taking credit now? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You get a couple accolades, and people start texting you again that you haven't heard from in like a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Remember when we did this? And now like, oh yeah, yeah, okay. Um, no, but I mean, I'm lucky to have a few, uh, I think just star related relationships that I met people who were incredibly talented yet incredibly humble.
Mm.
And that changed me more than anything. I was lucky enough to sort of form a relationship with blues legend John Lee Hooker years ago before he passed and spent a lot of time with him. Um, and I mean, relationships like that moved me about as much as anything.
Why
Just
is that?
people,
What was
um,
it?
because people that were so amazing, but didn't play it up, let their work speak for itself, and in their regular lives were just wonderfully humble, good people. Yeah, didn't have, and I mean, I'm not sure if I achieve it or not, but I definitely strive for a degree of humility.
Do you think in LA that some people, once they're here, they change a lot?
Sure. For better and for worse, right? But I mean, there's no doubt that to some degree, having an attitude and act act as this or fake it till you make it sort of
Mm.
works on certain platforms or certain levels. People sort of, I mean, I see it every day. People with attitude and people respect them because they've got attitude, or I know wonderful creatives that are nice to people and they don't get the attention because people mistake um you know kindness for weakness, but
Mm.
ultimately it catches up with you. Like if you can only fake it for so long.
Okay. And then people will find out.
And people find out quick. Yeah.
Okay. What would your biggest advice be to someone wanting to move to LA to pursue a creative career, whether as a filmmaker or a photographer or musician?
I mean, this is pretty common advice that I hear, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it's get out and do it. Like, and I mean, I said it earlier, but you have to love it. You really have to love the process. But, get out and shoot with your phone, direct your friends, constantly write music. If that's your forte, I saw this thing where they looked at classical composers that were the most prolific, and I think 90% of them just happened to have the biggest repertoires in existence.
Oh, wow.
Other than Rachmaninoff, who had a small, but he just happened to write hits, but the rest just had massive amounts of songs, and so in time they wrote good ones. So
Mm.
I mean, you can kill yourself trying to write the best song and stay in your studio and do it, but sometimes quantity over quality in the creative process is the way to go. And especially filmmakers, you have to get out and make mistakes and shoot constantly.
Yeah, you learn things from your mistakes that hopefully you won't be making again the next time around. So you have to do
Yeah,
it.
I
You have to,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, more than anything else, from mistakes.
What's the best piece of advice you've been given by someone that's helped you in your career or your life?
Oh, that's funny. Actually, this the same bit of advice. And as I was telling you that story, I remember who told it to me is an old friend of mine named Tony Sebner, who was just or is a just a god of a drummer. Like I was always blown away with, and kind of why I switched out of music was people like Tony that had music just flowing through them so well. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm maybe I'm not this person, but Tony and I'd see him at clubs all the time. We were both going out and checking out other bands to see, what was out there. And he said, the most important thing to learn is not learn what to do, it's learn what not to do.
Mm.
That's the most important lesson you can do. And it's so accurate.
Learn what does he mean by that exactly? Learn what does he mean by learn
Again,
not?
learn what not to do, learn other people's mistakes. I mean, it's
Oh,
great to learn from mistakes, but it's better to learn from other people's mistakes. So you're not the one
okay, I got
like
it.
making them, right? Like, okay, I didn't make it, but I can learn from their mistakes. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. How important is networking and relationships to your career? How has it helped your career?
Oh, I mean, I think it's vital. I mean, I think is that you have to have, I mean, luck favors the prepared, right? So you have to have the skill set, but people work with who they like in this town. It's, because especially on a long set, you have to get along. It's a lot of hours together. You have to know their, not just their personality, but their personality when they're stressed out and it's
Mm,
4 in the morning and you're on a 16-hour day. Um, you know, I have a an assistant that I use, and she's great, but I tell her like half the reason like she's so great, it's 16 hours in and she's making the crew laugh.
yes.
Yeah, Chelsea Blackman, I'll give her a shout out. Chelsea, love you. Like, hours in, and I know that she's still going to have this positive attitude
That's
and make me laugh and work hard and do that. But then there's also over networking too. If all you do is network
mm,
and don't work on your craft, that can be a problem. And I see that a lot where people are like, "Oh, I'm networking." It's like,
yeah, but how's
maybe
that?
network less.
Work more. I mean, yeah, you have to have
Maybe
a
work more, work a little more, then network. Yeah.
very cool. Okay, so we're gonna change it up a little bit and chat more about sort of just like living in LA and being in LA. So, what is your favorite taco stand?
Oh boy. If anyone knows me, they know it's a tough question. My favorite one actually closed, but I'm gonna actually differentiate between my favorite tacos. So my favorite pastor is at El Chato in the corner of Olympic and La Brea.
Okay,
And my favorite carnitas um is on Vine Street. Uh oh God, and I'm actually Cactus on Vine Street has the best carnitas in LA.
good to know. Are
Yeah.
you a Raiders, Dodgers, or Rams fan?
Oh, I'm a Lakers fan.
Okay.
I'm, I'm in a
And
sense since it's LA. Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan.
what else shall we chat? What is your favorite? Like, if somebody was to come to LA as a tourist, where would you tell them to go? What would you tell them to do?
I mean, probably different than most would say. I mean, I would say hike Griffith at night. I would take them to like out to Malibu uh for a little beach excursion,
Mm.
um to comedy clubs in town because I think it's tough to beat those.
Mm. Comedy.
I'm not a club goer, but I do like the sort of speakeasy vibes of LA, maybe some of
Uh,
those.
which one?
And
Which speakeasy?
oh, I really like La Descarga.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah,
Yeah, on Western.
yeah. So do you
Yeah.
self?
Uh Poorly. I think I know the steps, but I wouldn't say that I do.
Yeah, it's like when people ask me if I sing, I go, "Well, I can yodel,"
There you go.
and then they just look at me weird. But yeah, I can't yodel either, so we're
Cat
good.
yodel. Okay.
Where were we? More LA questions. Oh, if you were to be either uh, a historical figure from LA or a present figure from LA, who would you most like to have dinner with?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, well, I guess I'll answer two
Yeah.
because I have a couple
I
favorites,
think
very different genres.
mine.
Same with my tacos. It's a tough question. I'm a huge fan of Buster Keaton.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Charlie Chaplin, but Buster Keaton was just a wild man and did his own stunts and was just a genius in setting up these comical scenes that were also death-defying stunts simultaneously.
Mm,
And I just go back and, comedy that still works almost 100 years later.
mm,
That's pretty amazing. And and if it was possible, Kobe Bryant, because I
mm,
absolutely adore Kobe, and his work ethic was bar none. He's in the argument for one of the, for GOAT.
right.
Uh, and I'm not going to have that argument, but I'm saying he's in the discussion merely because of his work ethic.
Mm.
I mean, he was the first one in the gym every morning, and I really respect that.
Is there anything else you would like to say to the viewers today before we wrap up?
No, no, I mean, I think we're good. I think you've got a perspective of, I mean, hopefully look out for the film, and hopefully it's decent, and we'll have the premiere. So, and we'll
Oh,
announce that here pretty soon if you follow me. So, yeah,
definitely.
and check out Danya's work and watch Sweet Tooth, and Adrucia, like she's gonna kill it in the film. Yeah. So please follow them.
Okay. And Dania's song is called Respira, correct?
It is. It
Res-
is.
And then Adrusha and you will be doing your film, and that's The Mourning Sun. And where can people find you online?
Uh, they can find me at Michael Pizzoli is my Instagram. Then at Michael Pizzoli Film is my newer. I'm separating the film stuff onto a separate one. Additionally, Adrucia has Curiosity Entertainment and
Mm,
Curiosity Film School, so she's got a couple sides.
okay.
But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, or I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but mainly just for my reels, so I don't put a lot on there.
Okay. So Instagram it is. Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Michael. It was great to learn more about you and your journey to filmmaking. And thank
Great.
you, everyone, for joining us today. And we will see you next time on Shout Out with Sage. Bye. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Sage.
Thanks. Thanks so much.